Port Adelaide lose their spark against the Cats.
The Eagles win a classic in Perth on Sunday night.
And St Kilda somehow find a new low. This is the Drew Footy Show. Nice.
Long road, took a tumble down this black hole. Stuck in Sunday league, but I'm on.
Hello, you plonkers, and welcome back to another episode of the Drew Footy Show. Nice. Obviously, to be involved, go follow DrewFooty_ on Instagram. Simples. 5k by the end of June. It's slowed down a bit, Jesse, but I didn't upload much this week. But I'll be uploading lots and lots and lots. Uni's done now, so YouTube is my main focus, baby. So yeah, plenty of content coming out soon.
It's not your side bitch, it's your main hoe now.
Yeah, my main hoe. It's like good at gardening and that. If you could subscribe, that would be very much appreciated.
You'll start raking it in.
Bolts and holes. Bloke of the week this week was sent in by a sub, Angus Matthews. So shout out to you for sending it in. If you see any bloke of the weeks, make sure you send them in. And I'm just going to show Jesse. Jesse, you haven't seen it yet?
No.
No context. Here you go.
I legitimately, how many deer
He full face plants and scorpions as well.
Jeez, that looked like Nat 5 taking a set shot.
How pissed would you have to be to kick a medicine ball full pelt, face plant into the dirt, and then your legs come over your ass after? That's commitment, eh?
I felt the pain watching that, eh?
But there you go, bloke of the week. Silly bloke kicking medicine ball. So there you go. You are the bloke of the week. Happy days. Let's get into the games. The round was kicked off by the Port Adelaide Power playing the Geelong Cats. The game started pretty slow. I thought it was going to be a bit of an arm wrestle, but Connor Rozee, they've been crying out for him to come into form at Port. He hasn't been in the best form this season. Kicks 4 in the first quarter, literally lit up that game straight away. The momentum of this game was swinging like Jesse on a Saturday night.
It's good, actually.
But literally 4 goal swings in both directions. I think in the last quarter, both teams kicked 3 goals each within the first 5 minutes or something like that. Absolutely crazy game. But Geelong just had that relentless pressure. Port sort of kept taking their foot off the gas. They'd kick 4 and then they'd sort of settle once they hit the lead. But Geelong weren't going anywhere, baby.
It was a weird game. I kept sort of darting in and out of the house and on the balcony and then out. And every time I did, the score would change dramatically. I'd be like, who the hell is going to win this game?
But it was the big forwards that the Geelong have paid the big bucks for who won them the game. Jeremy Cameron, one of his better games as a Cat. Although he's had quite a few. He has announced himself as a feline multiple
times. I think he's kicked 3 bags at least of 5+, I reckon. Yeah.
Oh, we're not talking about Dusty. Bags are drugs. They're bad. Don't take them. But Port Adelaide, terrible kicking. Absolutely woeful. Unforced errors leading to so many goals in that game. It literally cost them the game. Simple chip kicks that they kept fucking up, consistently. I was watching this game. I obviously tipped Port Adelaide, as did Jesse. I was getting so pissed off at how bad their kicking was. My head in. And yeah, Port Adelaide will be absolutely filthy with this loss. They were in a good position to win it.
They seem to really struggle with the lifting to match the opponent this year. As you can see, all their losses this year have been against good teams, and there's an issue there when they obviously are starting to lose to contenders at home. The pretender question mark comes up, and they're just not quite lifting to the level that's required.
We do have a question here from Jizzle Neal, and he says, "Where do you see Port finishing after this disappointing loss?"
Well, I did the ladder predictor personally a few weeks ago, and I think I had them sliding into 3rd or 4th because of their fixture.
Yeah.
But I did also have them beating Geelong.
Yeah.
I had banked on that. They're probably still in the frame, but they're going to have to lift a gear a little bit.
Yeah.
You never know with West Coast, as much as I sort of wrote them off a few weeks ago, if they keep snatching results as well, then obviously there's only 1 game between them. So I still think Port make the 4. But it's not as cemented as I thought it was. I
think just head-to-head after losing to Geelong, I'm just going to swap them over. In my mid-season, I think I had Geelong 5th and Port 4th. So I'm just going to flip them around. I reckon Port might miss the 4 after this performance.
I think Geelong are comfortably better. It was just more about the fixture at the back end of the season that influences it for me.
And Geelong, a side that I've said have been so hot and cold this season, really hot, and then just absolutely diabolical in some quarters of this season. They've got Bulldogs this week, and then I think the week after they've got the Lions. So we'll see which Geelong side shows up to those games where you can really see the finals picture start to take shape. So on Friday night at the SCG, Hawthorn took on Sydney. Now, Sydney, I think, have some question marks right now because you look at some of the results they've had. They've lost to Gold Coast away. That win against Geelong was by the skin of their teeth. Slightly beating St Kilda just by bad kicking of St Kilda.
And we know St Kilda's amazing.
Yeah, and we know St Kilda are very good. And now they've lost to Hawthorn at home. It's obviously they're a young side, so they've probably overachieved this season to build those expectations. We've got a question here from Legend Ace 2K21. I just want to bring it up while I'm talking about it. Questioning Sydney Swans' finals chance now because of that loss. Probably drop out after round 19. So it's not a question. But, I don't know, Sydney probably aren't a top 8, like a solidified top 8 side. I think they're the most fluid in the top 8 to slip out. Do you feel the same?
No, I do agree. I had them making the 8 on my top 8 ladder prediction, but I do maintain they'd be the weak link out of all the teams in the 8. In fact, I'm more convinced by a GWS, quite frankly, even though they had an average result on the weekend.
Yeah.
Just obviously just a bit more experience, so more likely to run out of season. Sydney, being a young, talented side, are always going to flip-flop a little bit. So I think if they make the 8, they're pretty much making up the numbers at best, to be honest. Yeah.
Which is a shame, because obviously they've beaten real good sides this year. Beaten Richmond and Brisbane and Geelong, right?
Yeah. But they just haven't recaptured the form that made them beat Richmond by 8 goals. Like, that seems so long ago now.
Yeah, exactly. John Newcombe, first game for Hawthorn, got drafted last week in the mid-season draft, pick 2, comes into the side, gets a game-high 14 tackles, most in AFL history by a debutant. That's a fairy tale story right there, isn't it? Imagine being drafted and then breaking an AFL record the next week.
That's stupid. I wonder how many mid-season draftees have even played as early as like the next week. I don't know.
There wouldn't be many, would there?
Should probably have researched it before I brought that up. But,
yeah.
I was actually going to do a video on this recently. How many mid-season draftees have actually like played early and then done well? And he's probably had the most impressive start to a career by any draftee like that. Yeah. So yeah.
Difference maker, probably where the Hawthorn haven't really had too much firepower in the pressure department this season, so he's come in and he's performed his role, and that's all you can ask a player to play with an intensity, especially young players. Like, they're obviously not going to have all of the ball usage skills that you're going to get as you become a more developed AFL player. That took me a fucking hot minute to get out, but
good.
Yeah, he came with intensity and made an impact on his first game of AFL football. You know what? I'm going to give him in particular the winner of the week.
Bloke of the week.
No.
Winner of the week?
Winner of the week. John Newcombe.
You know what? The only reason you did that, we agreed it was going to be West Coast before we started this video, and now it's fucking John Newcombe.
The West Coast are never winners. Nah, that is fucking worth it, though, if there was a player to earn it.
Yeah.
But fuck West Coast also. A clash of the Titans, you could say, at Optus Stadium on Saturday. Dockers versus the Gold Coast Suns. This was a game that I was like, alright, come on, Freo. We're playing Gold Coast here. We have to win this. And I predicted us to win. It's the only tip I've got right this round. You changed your tip to Gold Coast, unfortunately for you, buddy.
I didn't think Alex Pearce was playing for some reason. There was mixed rumours about whether he was going to make it, and I thought Ben King...
Those are rumours.
Yeah, they were. And I thought Ben King would run amok, but he had the exact opposite game to what I was expecting. Gold Coast were pretty shit.
Yeah, I thought Ben King would have done a business. Like, obviously, Alex Pearce is so injury-prone, so I'm always just scared that he's a bit fragile when he plays, but he come back into the side, and it was like he hadn't missed a beat. He was really good. Only defender this season to keep Ben King to 0 goals. Yeah. So Alex Pearce, great return.
You are the winner of the week.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's so good to have just a solid, reliable defender back there that is experienced in the Dockers side. Obviously, he's been in and out for so long, but he's a big figure at the club. So yeah, the first half was absolutely stinky. You messaged me like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like, are they even playing football? But the way that the Gold Coast set up so well defensively, bro. No, they just stopped the switch, which Freo do a lot. We switch the ball a lot, and we like to move the ball pretty quick. We sit deep, and then we move the ball quick on the counter-attack usually. Gold Coast just held the ball up really well and made for a very boring first half. But in the second half, Jesse, 2 new cult figures are emerging at Freo. Josh Tracy, the big kahuna, 18 years old, dominated that Freo forward line. You look at players like Rory Lobb, and I hate to talk down on Freo players. I wouldn't talk down to Rory Lobb. He's 6'11". It's a shame he can't run. No, Rory Lobb, he can get his hands to balls coming inside 50, but he just cannot ever hold them. And it's become like a constant that Rory Lobb cannot take a contested mark. He has the athleticism to make the contest, but just can't grab it.
Callum Sinclair was a beast at that at West Coast, just the king of the almost mark.
Yeah,
that same thing. Yeah.
Exactly right, almost marks. Whereas like forwards that come to mind like Josh Kennedy and Darling, if there's a mark that's speared into them overhead, they'll take it if they can get 2 hands on it.
Yeah.
But Josh Tracy comes in and he's taken big pack marks at 18 years old, and I think he got about 2 or 3 holding the balls as well.
Wow.
So his pressure's good. He runs all day, and he's exactly what Freo need, a big power forward that has a presence that can apply pressure as well. Because Rory Lobb just hasn't been providing that option for us. And the other one, off the 2 comp figures. Sean Darcy. Kane Corn said he's one of the most underrated players in the competition right now. Had 40 hit-outs, 17 touches and a goal. Lots of defensive marks as well. Sean Darcy, we really need to keep him because there's rumours that he might go off back home to Victoria, which I really hope he doesn't, but he's emerging as one of our most important players as well.
I had a few holding the balls on the couch watching that game, funnily enough.
And Matt Rowell was back. Didn't hear a peep of him all day long.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of expectation on a very young kid who's had 2 major injuries. So, not too surprised on that.
Good to nullify him, and Nat Fyfe was out. Didn't really miss him. David Mundy, class as usual. Happy. Dockers win. We've got Collingwood, Carlton, then Hawthorn. I think we're a better side than all 3 of those. Need to win the next 3. Jesse, what the fuck was that game on Saturday night? Up in Cairns. St Kilda versus Adelaide.
Clash of the Titans, you could say.
Brother, I come on this show every week.
Gross.
And then we film. I can't keep stressing to you, St Kilda, they are diabolical. They are terrible. Losers of the week. Throw up your L's. Terrible. We've got some comments here that I'm just going to reel off. Cardman said, someone shoot me. Vic Fontaine said, pain and insanity. These St Kilda fans are going through it at the moment, Jesse. They're not having a good time supporting their club.
They are the Gobblers of the AFL right
Their
now.
team's ghosted them. They've pulled a nice finals berth for the first time in a few years. They've got in there and they're like, all right, we're a decent side. Next season, their side hasn't shown up. Just like after a one night stand when they don't message you back and you're like, I thought I had a good connection there. We know it all too well, buddy.
Too real.
This is killing St Kilda fans. I almost feel sorry for them, but
almost.
I don't. Yeah. You were 54-18. How does that happen? The end score was 60-66. You kicked 1 goal in the second half. There is serious issues at St Kilda. It can't be overstated, I don't think.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, they're cooked. I think they were cooked before this game. This doesn't even surprise me. They've lost 2 games by 100 points, I think, this year, haven't they? That's disgusting. What, is it 2? The Dogs?
Yeah, and...
No, maybe it wasn't...
They did.
Maybe it wasn't 2 points. I think it was 86 to Richmond, 75 to Essendon, and 111 to the Dogs. But either way, their percentage is like a fart in a bottle on a good Saturday night in.
Ooh. Stinky.
Yeah, real stinky. We do have a question from Lucas Scomparan, 23, who asks, who performed better this week? St Kilda in the 4th quarter against Adelaide or Essendon during the bye? I'd rather be Essendon.
Yeah, I'd rather be Essendon as well.
I'd rather have 22 byes across the year than play in 2 games like that.
Yeah, that's terrible. That is, I think, probably Eagles almost take the cake for this, but the worst singular half performance of the year.
I was going to say that game really reminded me of our loss to St Kilda, which is quite ironic. I think that one's probably a little bit worse.
Yeah.
A little bit worse.
I mean, it's against fucking Adelaide.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, we were against St Kilda, but I just think when you look at how low scoring it was as well, to have a 7-goal turnaround, where at least our game was a bit more open flowing.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're sort of comparing 2 turds here.
Yeah. And just to cap it off, Riley Thilthorpe, the young rookie, kicked 3, kicked 2 in the last quarter, which ended up being the game-winning goal. That one over the head, one of the better game winners you'll ever see. St Kilda's stink takes away from how good that game-winning goal was. But good on Riley Thilthorpe. He's had a good season, the young man.
Second best game winner goal of the round.
We'll get to that. North Melbourne versus GWS. Some would say it was a portrait. Some would say...
Clash of the Titans.
It was a draw.
Oh, I get it.
Sam Lloyd, Daniel Lloyd, Chris Lloyd, Stephen Lloyd kicked the game-drawing goal and then sprayed one out on the full.
I've honestly had better sprays on the back of my toilet bowl.
Yeah, and that could have won the game for the Giants.
Yeah, he just needed to score. He could have steadied. It was a difficult shot to nail the goal.
He's
but
pissed all over the seat.
He really has. Yeah, I was actually going with diarrhea.
Yeah, I thought you were.
Yeah.
I was just bringing it back to the urinal. But yeah, disappointing GWS not winning this game against North Melbourne, and North Melbourne will probably be disappointed not to get the win because they're few and far between at the moment. But 2 points on the board.
They do say draws are like dancing with your sister. It's like a weird mixed emotion. I imagine both teams walk away from that really disappointed. GWS at least clawed it back, so they got something from it. And
and both teams were stiff, but they weren't happy about it. Content!
Dancing with your brother.
Rats.
Everyone feels a bit stiff.
Alright, so here's this absolute stinkathon of a game that no one really cared about. West Coast versus Richmond. Two sides who aren't in top 4 contention, but on their day can beat the best sides in the AFL. Richmond coming off a big win in Dreamtime against Essendon, a big fourth quarter performance, And Shai Bolton had a good game yesterday, but wasn't enough. I think Richmond ran out of legs, and West Coast probably grew a few. Nice and stiff. Eagles expert Jesse McClure here. What do you have to say about this performance?
It was very, very good. We had a great time, and I hope everyone went help. Fuck that up.
I didn't expect us to win, and I went in with pretty low expectations, just trying to enjoy the game, and we were taking it up to them. Richmond were probably better for longer throughout the entire game, and that's why the last 7 minutes were an absolute shock, because we lifted to a gear that they couldn't match. You're right in saying that they're out of legs a little bit. They've been travelling a lot, obviously can't really base out of Melbourne at the moment, so they do have their own adversity, but I think we also lifted to a gear that they couldn't match, to be honest. I think it was a case of both of us lifting and monstering it. Elliot Yeo, Nick Naitanui and Josh Kennedy in that last 5 minutes. Shannon Hearn, they just lifted to a gear that Richmond couldn't match. So to make up 4 goals in 5 minutes or whatever it was, the Eagles absolutely smashed it.
You said that last passage of play was very reminiscent of the 2018 grand final. Talk us through that last passage of play.
Yes, I think there was a moment where Shannon Hearn took a defensive mark in the goal square, and then he kicks to Harry Edwards, who, Harry Edwards is 2 metres tall, and he runs around the man on the mark and kicks it long to
Nathan
Yo.
Vardy,
Yeah, it was a little. That's exactly what I was thinking, and it was actually going through my head at the time because the play had opened up and the Eagles were just playing long and direct. Elliot Yeo takes a mark, doesn't even really look around, swings over to Ryan, who knocks it forward. And as soon as Ryan got that break, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna do something here." And then just hits Josh Kennedy. There's a lot of parallels between that and the Dom Sheed play.
And there was no doubt in your mind that Kennedy was going to kick that.
I was very confident. I was filming it, and I was just like, I've just got to keep my hands steady. I was shaking. I couldn't control it. Josh Kennedy's a clutch player. He was always going to kick it.
Great atmosphere at Optus. Matt McCann sent in a question. Can't be bothered reading it out exactly, but he said it was the best atmosphere he's ever been to at Optus. 50,000 there against Richmond, and to win the way that you did would have been pretty nuts.
Definitely the best game I've ever been to at Optus. Just beating when Liam Ryan took Mark of the Year to beat Melbourne. That was, it just beats it.
We got a question here. I didn't write down the name, but it will be on the thing, so I apologise. But how are the top 4 chances looking for the Eagles, is the question.
Prior to the Essendon game, I like to do my ladder predictions, and they're probably not worth much, but that's all I have to go off at the moment. I had us always beating Richmond, and probably beating the Dogs as well, and this was me looking at it optimistically, and I still had us missing the 4. So as far as I'm concerned, we haven't really caught up on that yet, but at least we know that that was a heavyweight battle, as Adam Simpson said, so we can beat quality teams. So obviously more confident than I was, but it would take a Geelong or Brisbane falling out, and I just don't see it. I don't see he's making the 4, but there's the title anyway. So in the last game of the round, it was the Melbourne Demons versus the Collingwood Magpies, and it was 54-73 because the game's on right now. Looking like Collingwood are going to come back into form. My footy chipping's fucked.
How many have you got this week? 1? And the draw?
If Collingwood win this, it'll be the draw is the only tip I got right out of 7.
Stinky. If you want to see next round's tips, I don't know why you would, because if you don't get any of them right, head over to DrewFooty to watch just the tips.
Expert analysis.
We can't talk about the Melbourne-Collingwood game because it's on right now. So, but Melbourne could lose, and I did choose that for the upset of the week last week. So let me flex on that.
I'm joining in, even though I don't deserve it.
That's going to wrap up this episode of the Drew Footy Show. Make sure you go follow DrewFooty _ on Instagram. I cooked that, but let's just style it out, and no one will notice it because we're swagging on this bitch. Subscribe, 5K by the end of June. Thank you for watching. See you later. You plonkers.